Welcome to the Ave Podcast with Cal C on South Shore Radio.
Welcome back to SnowCappin, where we break down the latest episodes of the last season of Snowfall until the series finale. This is a special edition of the Ave Podcast. For the remainder of the series, if you make sure you act right, I'm going to be riding shotgun with Kevin W., the South Shore family member, as we navigate Concrete Jungle, episode 6 of season 6 of Snowfall. So let me put a disclaimer out right now, just to get this right out the way. If everybody who saw the episode 6, spoiler alert! If you have not watched episode 6 as yet, spoiler alert. Okay, you've been warned. This is not my fault. After this, you've been warned. All right, so now that we got that out the way, I want to start off the pod by saying two things. Number one, that escalated quickly, huh? And then number two, I'll go back to the wall and ask the question I asked last week. Is Louie right for Jerome? And we know the answer going the other way around. But what about my questions, sir?
I'd like to remain consistent and wish everybody happy International Women's Recognition and Empowerment Month. He got him in too deep. You know, he got him in deep, and he went out he went out on as a stand-up man. Mm-hmm. So respect, all respect due. Good actor, good role.
Oh, well, let's give the eulogy. I have a moment. We'll do a eulogy. Don't do the eulogy just yet. Right. But to answer the question, is Louie right for Jerome? The answer is no.
You saw what I was trying to do there, right? Okay, thanks for circling back, Calvin. Like that car, that car by the car wash, by the repair shop that just kept circling around trying to get there.
Yeah. Come back to the spot. Come back to the spot. Answer the question. Don't let me circle a third time.
She was toxic. She didn't see it. Because Leon's girl, Wanda, was good for him. She just wanted to get out. You know, it's not for us. We don't have to go back to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he wanted to exit.
And it's not good for her, especially for her well-being, right?
Right. But she was also looking after herself.
Yeah.
And for him.
Right.
Let's exit stage left. We don't need this. Look at this. This is so nice. We could be together. It'd be awesome.
We got some money.
Yeah. Less than Jerome and Louie. And
right.
And they could have been set. But Louie's situation, they had way more money. I told you, she's clip-clopping with her horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's jangoing on the horse. She's an aristocrat, you know? And lo and behold, got caught out there. Mm-hmm. Not good. And even when her man is like, I'm done with this, just give me more time. There's no time in this. Like, nah, man, that's tough. You take the good and the bad, but that was tough. That's tough.
Yeah, we were joking around last week, but I felt it was a fair question to ask because, and I feel like I almost feel prophetic in saying hell no, especially that he's actually dead. but at least, you know, at the very least though, she did acknowledge that she is the cause and all the warring between them and Franklin, right? But I guess I was going to ask you another question too, but you kind of answered it already in terms of did you believe her when she asked that she needed more time? But
she was stalling. She had there was no exit strategy.
Right. Well,
wait a minute. Did she go clip-clopping after telling him that she needed more time?
Right, because he told her to go clear her head, right? Because he was going to go do the drop for her. He did tell her that, right? So that's what she went to go do.
Okay.
Right. It's like you can't blame her for that part, but I mean, I think even before, you know, he gave her the opportunity to go clear her head, even before he did that, the fact that she said that she wants her self-respect to come from this game and not any other parts of life, you know, they see you a certain way, they don't see me, I want that respect kind of thing. Like once she basically declared that, you know, you ain't pulling out that easy.
At what cost?
Yeah. Like when you're saying that, the fact that you need more time, like, no, You don't need more time. You're not pulling away that easy. And that has nothing to do with being afraid of Teddy either. You know, and like I said again from last week, Kevin, like I get it. I still understand. I still get it from her beginnings, like where she started and her point of view. I get it. Basically, I'm trying to say you don't shift away from the grid unless you have no choice. You know, and had she wanted to do that, had she wanted to go off the grid, like with Jerome, that, you know, Jerome will probably still be alive.
Why is it so hard to leave the game?
You know, it's the moolah, bro. It's the moolah.
But with enough moolah, like, how long do you expect to do this? And you know what I mean? Like, if you're bootlegging, you bootleg for a bit and then you bounce. You know, if you
stack the money, as soon as you get enough, you're out.
Exactly. The Leon escape plan was perfect. Like the Leon and Wanda escape plan, the reverse passage. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and be gone, or get out of your neighborhood. I even know what neighborhood they were in, but just leave. Yeah. Start something and bounce. It's so, like, Franklin had how much money? 7 million?
70
or 70
million.
70 million.
73 million.
73 million, 1980 something, like late 80s US dollars.
Right. Like, what would that be worth today? I mean, this is fictional, of course, but what would that be worth today?
Granted, I love all these characters, right? So I don't want to see them go, but all of them have had enough time to just be like, yo, I'm good. Thanks. We came up. I'm out.
Yeah,
you know?
Moving on to the next person.
But yeah, here you go, Dion or whatever like that. These are the rules of the game. All the best to you. But this is not a retirement plan. You're not supposed to spend 25 years and get a gold watch at the end of it. Just get the hell out.
Yep.
But again,
I mean,
it makes for good ratings.
But I mean, you're asking the question that thousands of drug dealers have fortunately been in and got caught up the same way, right? It's the power and the money. And on top of that, it's fast, it's a lot, and where else are you going to make that kind of money when you get into the game that way and make it the legal way? Even when you make it the legal way, in most cases, it's not going to be as fast.
The longer you stay, the longer you might become a target or an obstacle.
Of course.
In somebody, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, back to the episode.
And that's the thing, too. Like, you know, and I think even when you think back of, like, how I forget the woman's name now. I'm so bad with names right now. This is part of being part of the over 40 club. When you know, the woman that she took the club from earlier seasons.
Oh, like the mistress or whatever like that.
I forget her name now. Jeez.
Like the madam that she clubbed.
The madam, right? Exactly, because that's who she was basically under, right? When she when she started, even before Franklin. Before Jerome, right?
Right.
So the fact that, like, you know, she gets out of there and her instinct was, I mean, she could have got any club, especially when they started making money. But no, she wanted that club. And it's just to represent a sense of power in that area for people to look at her in a different way. I get it. I get that way too. I get it. I understand that part of it. It's almost like you're coming back for revenge and now you're conquering the spot and the spot is mine. But you could have got other spots, but you wanted that spot. That spot meant more to you because you were at the bottom at that spot. Now you're at the top at that spot. But that power in itself is that's a thing too. Now, getting that and having money was not enough. So even from then, you can kind of see it.
Proximity power, right?
Right.
Yeah, I do understand
that. Analogy,
like, yeah, you'd rather be like the baller of Baltic Avenue, even though you have enough money to buy Boardwalk or Park Place.
Right.
You want to have, you know what I mean? Baltic Ave. That's where I want to be the king of Baltic Avenue, you know? So yeah, it's true. It's true. Look, I haven't been in the situation. I'm just a fan I'm just a fan of it, you know? So I don't know. I would we have been South Shore tyrants? You know what I mean? You know, everything Long Gale West is mine, man. You know, like would that have been us? Like, who knows? So
I own every section from A to P. You know,
stereo code is mine, guy.
Well, you know what? You were starting something where you wanted to give Jerome his eulogy, so I'll step aside and let you share your thoughts on him. What would you like to say about Jerome now that he's gone? And you can say it now without being your thoughts filtered by the International Women's Month.
Okay. There was a song I had from the West Coast that I was going to quote, but rather than that, I'd say the character himself, loyal, very loyal to those that are closest to him. So he was very protective. He was like the Papa Bear, basically, of the whole organization, right? He was down with Franklin until Franklin crossed Louie, and then he stayed true to his Louie, right? But he always looked out for his girl and Franklin back in the day. Had a sense of morality, I believe, at a certain point, and I think it all just caught up to him. But stand-up dude, man. Tried to, once he had his epiphany, he was true to it. There wasn't a lot of backstab. There wasn't a lot of backstabbing involved with him, right?
No,
It was a passionate character. When his money was gone and he was down and out, yeah, he kind of did club one of what were Franklin's drivers there? Finesse and Sinquist. What were his two drivers that he had there? He did have to handle his business, but that was out of emotion. He was very, very good character. And again, the actor that they chose to portray him, what's his name again?
Yeah,
please help me.
Amin Joseph.
Very well done.
Or Amin Joseph, yeah. Amin or Amin Joseph. I think Amin.
Very well done. From the come up, very well done. From humble beginnings to ballerific, and he still tried to keep it as close. And he could never pull the trigger on his family. He could never snap on his family. He could have, another character could have, right? Dion in that situation would have.
Yeah.
But he always tried to keep it and, for the greater good, 2 times for the greater good. The hood in him wanted to, it's like Frosted Flakes. You know what I mean? The hood in me wants to blow your braids out. The whole wheat side of me realizes I need your help to go get my girl back.
You mean the shredded weeds, not the Frosted Flakes, the shredded weeds.
Whichever one. You know what I mean? But mini weeds, bro.
Yeah, mini weeds, sorry. Mini weeds, yeah.
Mini weeds. Yeah. So that's basically, that was it.
Nah, man, he did a great job. I mean, Joseph did a great job. He's such an important figure. I think, that's the thing about this show, right? That we love. They're all flawed. In real life, you may not like some of them, but that doesn't mean, as fans, it doesn't mean that they can't be beloved, right? And everyone loves Jerome and what he represents. To all your points you made, and I'd add he's a man's man, from that era, right? And what that meant in 1986 in that era, right? You respected him, you feared him, you got guidance from him. He's a protector. He just wanted his piece of the pie, and he was cool. And I think not fighting for that piece of his pie and just being cool with that space eventually costed him his life, if you know what I mean, right?
You think that's what cost him his life?
Well, you know what I'm trying to say, because I think he was just cool with just, well, yeah, I can say that comfortably, because think about it. If Louie doesn't pull that move and go over Franklin's head, I think he was cool where he was at. No, do I have that wrong?
No. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. Yes, he was happy. He was happy in his lane. He wasn't trying to merge or overtake or anything like that. Yes,
right.
He would have been happy with status quo, but his boo had an opportunity with the teddy bear, and that's probably how everything got thrown into it. I should rewatch that episode where Teddy approached Louie and Jerome to see what Jerome's take was, if he tried to still keep it within the family or not. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Versus we know where she was going with it.
Yeah, again, I don't think he was comfortable with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think he was totally comfortable with it.
We know that this was originally Franklin's baby. This was Franklin's thing from day one, because they weren't doing anything. Whatever that speaker shop or what custom repairs or whatever it is he was doing, they weren't retiring off of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But speaking of, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and you know how Black Twitter feels about it, because man, they were either sad to see him go or they hated Louie in that moment. Overwhelming hate. At least on Wednesday night. At least on Wednesday night when the show aired. You know, like you know how Black Twitter does. You know how they go. So they were all in on that. But I would say it was probably more on the fact that they were sad to see Jerome go. But they were also very mad at Louie. Very mad. It's not quite Holly in power, but it's not quite Holly in power because I think people were dancing and celebrating when Holly died. It was not quite that. But people were mad. People were pretty mad at Louie. Mad.
I don't think Holly has taken a role since. You know what I mean? Like Joffrey in Game of Thrones, where like the venom is too much. Like you did too good of a job. You should probably just retire
and go sell insurance.
Yeah.
Should she replace Flo from Progressive
over the phone, and everyone's gonna call in and cancel their plans? Yeah. That's not what you did to Tommy, you know. So put Boban on the phone. I'm going to Boban. So we understand, like, yes, a good actor did his job, and we know that we had to say goodbye to one of our characters. Sorry, before I lose track, I never got your ranking for this episode on a scale of 1 to 10. Oh,
you want to do that to me, huh? Okay,
absolutely.
I should go for a second week in a row and say I don't have a ranking, but I'll satisfy the question for today. I give it actually that was a 10, man. That was a really good episode. That was a really good episode from pretty much from the beginning. I'll say it's a 9. I'll say it's a 9. I want to leave room for if there's actually like a 10 that actually blows this away. I don't want to start ranking an 11 and a 12. They get crazy, but I'll say a 9.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you. I'm like, I can't say it's a perfect episode. But it is up there. And I think in terms of like saying goodbye to a character, that's a pretty damn good farewell. You know what I mean?
100%.
I mean, for everything that he's been through, he stopped the I guess I'll do a proximity transit for you, but he stopped a Via, an Amtrak, a Go, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He stopped a train from happening to his woman.
Yes. I understood the analogy. Yes.
Did you, Calvin?
Yes, I really did. You didn't have to say the train part.
Because I'm not sure with you, Calvin, is what I'm saying. All right. So anyway, he stopped that from happening from a Jerry curl from that dude, that weird looking dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the pimp.
Right. Had we seen him before or not?
I feel like we have, but I don't know from what. I'm not going to use this episode to try to figure it out.
Okay. All right. He seems similar to that other. I guess it was in a movie or something like that. The short guy that was in a lot of movies back in the day. But anyway, the greasy pimp, right. Basically, he stopped that from happening, and that's a pretty good way to, you know.
You know what it is actually, Kevin. To be honest with you, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Infinity War, and this episode. And what I mean by that is just like Infinity War was. You know, when you think back on a movie like that, because remember right after Black Panther, we watched Black Panther, and I think like most people, I know I felt like, man, I don't know how much better you can get than Black Panther. And then 3 months later, I'm staggering out of the theater after watching Infinity War, right? And I'm not going to say this is Infinity War, but it's a little comparable only in the sense that there was so much going on from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a lot of slow periods. It was just kind of hitting you from the beginning, and then once Kane got a hold of Louie back in the warehouse, like that's when that's when everything started. Like he branded her for goodness sakes, like he did a good job, like acting wise. I'm saying he did a good job in that role. Like that was pretty. It was harsh. It was very harsh. How he was treating this woman. It was very harsh.
Now remember, she did greenlight.
Of course,
his attempted murder.
Of course, many times. I mean, he almost died. He's only now walking. He's only now walking.
his Wolverine healing power, fueled by Venom, of course, is something to be, something to be studied, I guess, because he really came back, but he plotted it from the hospital bed.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From everything. Like, this guy became that character. Like a great side character as well.
Oh, for real. Like, to your point again, I mean, they're chilling back at the house, and he almost gets taken out again. If Franklin wasn't there to help him,
right.
he would have got taken out
the
again.
goons ran up in his house yet again by the crack cop there, who clearly listen. I mean, if you're reducing payroll, if you're cutting payroll on these episodes, do not expect to see him in 2 weeks. This guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But my man had, I'm telling you, boy, my man had a branding iron, and he was like, he's given these cryptic speeches. He has this warehouse ready to go. He had slimy, man. Oh, dude. And okay, what do you think about the scene where Franklin sees Louie and they have that exchange? And Franklin, did you think he was really leaving her to leaving her to die?
I wasn't sure. I thought he was going to be honest with you. I thought he might have.
I'm setting you up, of course, knowing fully well, if you saw the spoiler, the teaser for next week's episode.
Oh, right.
That's gratitude for you, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. I would think so.
Yikes.
I mean, and I guess props to Franklin in that case too, right? Because at the end of the day, as sorted as it was, I mean, he watched it get branded. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, he still made it about family, even in the midst of it all. He did give Jerome an out, in that way to you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to do that. Like, based on what was happening, he didn't have to do that. He gave him an out.
But you saw who she's blaming.
Right. Of course. Of course. So, I mean, but, she's not seeing the behind the scenes of what happened there. She's in her point of view, just drunk off emotion, right?
Yeah, but you realize that Franklin, Leon, Jerome, and a whole bunch of other people all showed up to ride to save you from a compound.
Right.
This is Franklin's fault? Really?
And and I guess from that too, you understand why Black Twitter was Black Twittering.
The guy that you stabbed in the back, it's his fault that he came to save you? Really?
Yeah.
It's his fault that the guy you tried to kill didn't die?
Well. Again, I mean, yeah. The lack of context makes this look really bad. I do want to see what happens more in episode 7 before I dive further into that point, me personally. But I totally understand what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why Black Twitter was Black Twittering.
Tread carefully on matters like these, but I will ask you then, what do you think? Because we were pretty good in terms of forecasting what was coming.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
pat on the back for both of us.
Woo!
We were dead wrong in terms of who was probably going to die first, but I mean, who cares about that? That's just a category in the box score.
Semantics. Final score is we were right. That's all that matters at the end of the day, right? What do you think happens? Because if you're thinking budget wise, too many paychecks are being cut here. We're issuing too many paychecks. We got to reduce the roster.
Well, Kev, before you get to that, because I want to save that question for last. That's
all right.
Before I move on to the next question and we wrap this up soon, I was telling this to a friend actually tonight. That it probably makes for a better ending for the series that the person that passes first is the one that everybody loves the most, right? Because now you have more emotion invested in towards the show, whether it's good or bad or hate or or sadness. We've been saying this the last couple episodes. We knew that we're going to start losing people, So, but like I said again, I think at least to me, all of our predictions was way off because in that aspect, because I thought the first one to go might have been Leon. To be honest with you, I know we didn't really have a prediction who will go first, but in my head, I thought maybe Leon might go first. But I was way off. with everything that's happening now, with also being caught between every single rock and every corner that these rocks can fit in, do you think he wishes he could slip on the wrestling mask and just go back to wrestling?
I think he wishes he had a manager like Bobby the Brain Heenan to figure his way out of this. Because, yeah, he's in a rock and a hard place right now, man. A good auxiliary character, but is he really vital? Is he needed? Are we that emotionally attached to him?
Well, I mean, you know, I think he's similar to Jerome from a different side and perspective, where he's a protector. He's a quiet protector. He's an equalizer of morals. You know, but I think, you know, him turning to Franklin, it kind of speaks to the bond that they seem to have. It's like an outside understanding that they have. You know, so that they're not in the same circles, but they can still lean on each other when need be, right? But that vice is being squeezed on him from every angle. Like he just wants to get out like Jerome. The game is breaking everybody now, man. It's breaking everybody. No one's coming out of this unscathed, as we said, right? Nobody's coming out of this unscathed. And I think where Jerome would be like kind of envious of him is in terms of he's a big guy that's making his money and he's kind of keeping a low profile. He does his job and just keeps a low profile. Because remember, when he got busted, he had like $13 million in the storage unit.
Right.
Right? Like that's a lot of money just playing that role quiet.
Well, I mean, he could easily, you know, no habla inglés.
Right.
Who would suspect him, right? Like he's okay. I believe his wife has left him, right? With the kids?
At this point, I mean, well, we don't know yet. Remember, that's where he went to meet up with Franklin, right? To try to get a passport for her and the kids.
I think they're still there.
Right.
Oso's already had like people around him be taken out. So I think he sees the writing on the wall as well. And his venom is aimed at Teddy, same way the Franklin's venom is aimed at Teddy. So that's why, remember, they got together and they had that little meeting in the empty parking lot.
Right.
Like when this just promised me that you you get Teddy. It's like, yo, if I could promise you one thing, trust me, I'm getting Teddy, you know? So I'm like, okay, so that has to come to a head at some point soon. But I think also wish he had a Rey Mysterio mask and he could just like be anonymous, man. Like I think he wishes he was luchadoring somewhere, you know, without a care in the world.
Yeah, with a few zeros behind his name, enough that he can relax and be comfortable. Yep.
Start the clock, because I don't know if he's smart enough to know like the depths to which Teddy will go, and like because Teddy's pretty good. He's like it's legit. He is spy. Like he is James Bond level spyware. You know what I mean? He's bugged his house. He's hasn't followed. So I think Oso's in trouble.
And I mean, what did you think of that scene when he pulled up on the KGB at his house?
Reminiscent of Heat.
Reminiscent of Heat, you said? Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
The diner scene with De Niro and De Niro and Pacino. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was a moment. It's a moment where like we're from different sides of this, but again, it's just like, yo, I don't know, like I'm in too deep with this. Just get out. If you're still here, I'll kill you. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't be more blatant than that, you know? Mm-hmm. But I guess Teddy just realizes, because Teddy's been in there for all 6 seasons, basically. He knows what the end game is. Mm-hmm. This guy's just like, yo, you're being used as a pawn just like I am. Like, listen, man, just get out. Just flex, man. Seriously. It's a pretty good warning.
Yeah.
But we all know what happens when people get warnings in the show, so.
Well, that too. I mean, and at the end of the day, this is the, you know, the sad part in all this. Like when the Alphabet Boys got their hooks in you in that way, like they do also right now, your life isn't yours anymore. And maybe that's the lesson in all of this, right? The point of the show, because the CIA's involvement in bringing in drugs to the U.S. in the first place and making these characters essentially first-generation drug dealers drawing their blueprints of in the cocaine space. They're making the guidelines as they go along in that community, so they're all going to be destined to fall. They're all destined to fall, based off this.
Means to an end, and without going too far into history or whatever, but yeah, you're clearly expendable, right? So if you can't do it, look how long did it take? Like, it's not like Teddy put out an ad in the newspaper, needed drug kingpin to move this weight for me kind of thing. No, you next in line, step right up here. This is what we're gonna do. He's out, you're in. Do you want it? Otherwise, you're going to jail. I got your fingerprints and everything on it. Like, come on, don't act stupid. I can have your house seized and everything taken overnight. So, are you doing this or not? And that was like 40 years ago, basically, right? So,
right,
yeah, you're their friend until you're not, and then they don't know you anymore.
Now, who was your MVP of this episode?
I can't MVP a bad guy, but they're all bad guys. Look, you go first, please.
I don't have one. I would, but you know what the MVP was for me though? I'll name a scene. The scene between when Jerome comes home drunk. And he basically, gives his spiel about wanting to get out. That was a great scene. That was a great scene. Shout out to Jamaica, by the way, of wanting to go there and chill out in Kingston. But that was a great scene. I think that to me was the MVP of the episode. Was that scene? There was so many, to be honest with you, but that scene to me was like the great part of the episode. And it was rather early, but it was a great part in it because he's saying to you he wants out, and she's like, "Okay, what am I supposed to do with that?" I just told you what I just told you. I'm out. I'm tired. This is insane.
Yep.
This is insane, and he laid it out. He laid it out. When they say that, that liquid courage, man, it gives you the real spiel. He laid it out for us as clear as day. I thought that was a great scene between the two of them. Awesome scene. So I would say that scene to me was like the high point of the night. One of the high points. But I would say for me it was a high point.
She couldn't tell that he may have wanted out. She couldn't have seen the descent where this was going. She couldn't see that in her man. Or could you think she was so blinded by her need for... Now I'm just asking you a question, of course. She's so blinded by her need for wanting that respect. Remember her self effing worth? There's a scene where that's right where they hadn't seen in the living room.
But basically the continuation of that.
Right. Yeah. Where she's talking about her self-worth and the respect and everything. She can't see that her man was hurting. That, you know what I mean? It's taking a toll on him. It's just back-to-back episodes. He's just showing up drunk. Right? He's drunk on the street. He's throwing away his pager. He's coming home. He's crashing the car. Whoop-de-doo, bill it to me, or whatever he said. You know what I mean? She can't see that, that he's just spiraling into that was a great scene. You know what? Hindsight, I can't. MVP of the episode is Jerome.
Okay, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
He went out as a noble man. He handled his business, and he left us wanting more. So we'll owe it from now on, whenever you say Uncle Jerome, go figures if we didn't already have one in our families everywhere. But now you'll know Uncle Jerome, be like, oh, Snowfall, right?
Mm-hmm.
His character has reached its magnum opus. It's good. Look, where did he get shot?
Yeah.
A shot in his heart twice.
Right.
For the woman that he loved. Now Kane is pretty good with a branding iron, but he got popped twice in his heart. Nowhere else.
I guess to wrap up, what do you expect from episode 7?
We're ramping up right now, so I expect there hasn't been much Dion. There wasn't a lot of Dion in this one, right?
There was no Dion in this one.
Exactly. So Dion's been punked by somebody smaller than him, right? In front of his whole auntie, his whole neighborhood. I expect the revenge of Dion, because I don't know why Leon's still in that neighborhood without I don't know. I figure some innocents may have to get like this. The too many people around that neighborhood for it not to get shot up when Dion comes for his revenge, if he wants to get him there, or if he's going to catch Leon sleeping somewhere else. I don't know what's going to happen with Sis. Like how if Sissy finds out that this girl is blaming her son for everything, it's going to cause some friction. Yeah, you may not like whatever he's doing, whatever, but that's my son kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's already lost her, I guess, husband or Franklin's father to the game.
Yeah.
You're not going to come after my son too, like.
And her brother, essentially, right? Well, not essentially. Her brother. She lost her brother too.
Right. Sorry about that. Yeah, completely forgot. Yeah, she's losing the men in her life to the game already. So how are we going to just like, I blame Franklin for this. You're not, you're on the guest list, but you're not VIP family. You know what I mean? You're not in. So who does she turn to? Who is Louie going to turn to get a revenge? I figure it has to be Dion. Who else has a beef with Franklin?
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, I expect something like that. I expect I don't know about the KGB guy, man. I don't know about the KGB guy. I think he's going to try something, but Teddy seems to have a leg up. Teddy's rarely Teddy's rarely caught slipping. And the fact that Teddy had to make the call to warn his ex-wife that Franklin might be coming means that, Teddy, it's way more personal now. It's not business. It's like we're into personal territory. So I expect another move on the chessboard, 2 more moves on the chessboard, and 2 more. Guaranteed 1 more casualty next episode.
1 more casualty, yeah.
1 less person to write for. Yeah,
I'm gonna say there will be no casualties in the next episode. The focus will be the funeral, obviously, right, and everything that's gonna come from that. I know I asked this the last couple episodes. We still trust in V's mom, even though it looks like she's gonna be gone. But I don't feel like that character is done yet. That's just my prediction. I don't know how it's gonna come up, but like
I gotta say, we call that straight. We call that perfectly.
Yeah.
She wants her daughter and her grandchild. That is the most precious. Forget the weight, forget the drugs, forget the money. The cargo is her grandchild. She just wants to be out. Franklin is, thank you for the donation, Franklin. I get to be a grandma, and I plan on being a grandma for a long time. V has 2 parachutes. Actually, V has 3 parachutes. 1 for her, 1 for her daughter, and Franklin's just in case.
Right.
But she knows that she's already said that she's seen the Franklin's unstable. He's too, the cement is starting to dry. He's not trying to move out of it. So I can see that she's like, yeah, I think the last time we saw her, she was at an airport on a tarmac, right?
Right. Right. She's trying to convince her to leave. Trying to convince V to leave.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I say Cassandra. There's no way. The skill set that she basically has in this, like just in the back channels of however she lived her life. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't see that just going away, like just all willy nilly. I don't see it. That's just me. So I'm not saying she's coming back this episode per se, but I don't think we're done with Cassandra. We're not done with her yet. That's just my personal feeling. But
it's a very interesting chess game, Calvin. Mm-hmm. I do like how everybody has, like, they're all strategic chess moves that they're making. Some are less emotional than others, but I don't see any. Anyway, I have a feeling who goes next. I'm not going to call it, but I will come back with an "I told you so" next week.
Okay, fair enough. Well, all right. Well, this is the wrap up for SnowCappin right now. special edition of the Ave Podcast. So we will definitely come back next week, or actually not even next week. Sorry, because there's an episode this week. We're gonna get back on schedule, so we'll be back by the end of this week with episode 7. So we'll be right back at this. Nothing else to add?
I want to tell you guys who I think it is, but
say it before you go.
Damn it.
Under the buzzer. Get under the buzzer. The shot clock's about to go. Hurry up. Say it. Hurry up.
Nah, dude.
Oh, come on, Kevin. Just
No.
You can't be like, I told you so, and then in a couple of days. Say
But
it.
that's the genius of it, Calvin. That's the genius of it. Okay. I think that if V doesn't leave by episode 7,
Ooh.
there's an angry Teddy.
Ooh.
There's an angry there's an angry Teddy. There's an angry Louie. There's an angry, there are a bunch of angry people and a lot of bullets and a lot of diabolical people seeking revenge.
So you think it's V? Okay, we'll leave it there then. Let's see if it comes true.
That this ends. That Franklin, it does not. She does not get what she wants. That V's mom does not get what she wants. She tried on multiple occasions. Franklin is clouded. Too many people want to take things out on him. And anyway, I've said too much.
We'll leave it there. Thank you for checking out SnowCappin, the Snowfall Epilogues, a special edition of the Ave Podcast. Episode 7 called Charnel House. I'm making sure I'm pronouncing that correct. Will be broken down for you on Friday. And so you'll be getting 2 this week. And if episode 8 is out next week, you're going to get a new episode of SnowCappin on either Good Friday or Easter Monday, I promise. All right, regardless on if there's one or not, you will get a new episode of the Ave featuring the one and only Special K of Awesome 2, the legendary DJ duo, as well as one of the longest running hip-hop shows in hip-hop history. That one's going to be out next Thursday. All right, stay locked in for that, please, and thank you. All right, and also make sure you subscribe to the Ave Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, from my site to all the platforms. And click on the 5 stars for the culture. Show love. Always show that love. All right, and check out my site over at southshoreave.com where you can get to the catalog. Once again, that's southshoreave.com. And with that said, my name is Cal C, and you just finished listening to SnowCappin, the Snowfall Epilogues on South Shore Ave Radio. All right, check out the release of one of my old episodes from the catalog, and the theme of it is called Memory Lane. It's one of my favorite episodes out of the catalog that I'll be doing once a month. I released that one on Friday. Make sure you double back and check that one out as well. All right, just repurposing the catalog a little bit. Until Friday, we out.